Welcome viewers back to AAU TV, still on our test transmission channel. This is the regular program AAU Talks, and I'm the sitting host for the program today. My name is Abedneggo Corletey. The AAU, which serves as the higher education voice for Africa, runs a lot of programs with a view of improving the quality of education delivered to the continent. One of such programs that seeks to support people in the area of innovation, technology, and science is the PASET RSIF project. Today we are going to have a discussion on the PASET RSIF project with the project administrator, who is here with me this afternoon. So we will now go and welcome Mr. Osondu Onwuzuruigbo, who is a project administrator for PASET RSIF. Mr. Osondu Joshua, you are welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
PASET. What is PASET?
PASET, of course, is an acronym for Partnership for Skills in Applied Science, Engineering, and Technology. Just as it sounds, as described, it's a partnership among African countries, supported also by the World Bank and other members of the private sector, even outside Africa, that have much investment in Africa, and they are interested in having applied science and technology and engineering develop in the sub-Saharan Africa.
Okay. So it means the partners then are the African countries and then the World Bank.
Yes, the partners basically are African countries, because actually it's an initiative that is led by the African government.
Oh, okay.
And so we have, and this initiative is also supported by AU, but it's much more facilitated by the World Bank.
Oh, okay. But the name has another component to it. The PASET is just the first part. There's another RSIF. What is that one also supposed to mean?
Well, PASET, as it were, has a lot of initiatives under it. Okay, there are so many activities. For instance, harmonization of curriculum in African universities, different programs. Then RSIF is one of the programs on the PASET, and it's more or less like the flagship initiative of PASET. RSIF stands for Regional Scholarship and Innovation Fund. Okay, so it's an initiative that is particularly providing scholarship to sub-Saharan Africans. And also, not only that, also it is an initiative that also supports innovation. Okay. And so the fund, as it were, is provided by these members of PASET, okay, to support the scholarship programs in science and technology in Africa.
Okay, that is good. So what about the innovation aspect of that fund? Is it also supposed to be running as a component under the RSIF?
Yeah, RSIF actually has 3 windows.
Good.
Okay, the first one is the scholarship, and then the second one is research, and then the last one is innovation. Okay, it's expected that these 3 will work together to eventually promote science and technology that are relevant to African development. Okay, so we believe that first of all, at the moment we're actually starting with scholarship, okay, and then we will advance to the research element and then go to innovation.
Oh, okay. That is very good. It means that there's a lot of focus for the African continent to grow. But then let me ask, you talked about the fact that African countries are also partners. Does that mean all African countries are members of the partnership now, or some African countries are? And if it is only a few African countries that are, what makes or what qualifies a country to become a partner to the program?
I think basically all the countries in Africa, particularly in the sub-Saharan region, are supposed to be members. They are supposed to be part of this partnership. Because like I said, it is also AU driven. Okay, but at the moment, we don't have all the countries in Africa that are members. They are just very few, and then it's our belief that with time, and particularly with what we are doing at the moment, we'll create some high level of attraction for other countries to join. Okay, so I can also mention the few of the countries that are members at the moment.
Please do that for us, because that was the next question I was coming to.
Okay, we have Ethiopia, we have Kenya, we have Senegal, we have Rwanda, we also have Côte d'Ivoire. Okay, so these are members, and I don't think I'm forgetting any at the moment. Okay, so these are effective members at the moment.
Okay, let me push you a little. When you say effective, what do you mean by effective? As in paid up members of the partnership, or as in being active in making sure the program is running within their countries, or how do you qualify your effective?
What I mean is, like I said, it's a partnership that is open to all the countries. Okay. And so we have not exempted any, and I don't think any country has exempted itself. Okay. So what I mean by effective is that those that are actually at the moment participating in the activities, participating in both financial support and other ways, okay, to move the RSI forward.
Okay, I understand, because you said it's under the AU, so definitely then all African countries are supposed to be part of it.
Yes.
But let me ask, is there a particular requirement for a country to come on board? Like if a country is now interested to become an effective member, like we said, would the person need to go through a particular process to become a member of the PASET?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, but for other institutions, because like I said, the partnership includes the private sector. It also includes institutions that are outside Africa. Okay, so for these other ones, there is a process in becoming a member of the partnership. Okay, but for the states themselves, there is no condition whatsoever except just showing good interest and being very responsible to the goals and objectives of RSIF.
Okay, that is very good. That is good. We would have time to talk about that later, probably in the next show, about how the countries can be mobilized to come and support this very noble project. But then let's continue with our discussion. I heard you mention something to do with scholarship under the PASET project. What sort of scholarship are we talking about here?
At the moment, PASET, as I said before, has its bearing on applied sciences, engineering, and technology. Yeah. And so the scholarship we are also talking about here are scholarships in
those areas.
Okay. Okay. And as we are moving gradually, we have chosen some thematic areas that we think that success in those areas will actually bring development, will actually bring immediate development in science and technology in the region. Okay, some of these thematic areas, in fact, the 4 that we have chosen at the moment are ICT, food security, mining and meat materials, and I've mentioned ICT, I've mentioned food security, I've mentioned mining, and then the other one, right, energy. Very important.
Yeah.
Energy, yes.
Yeah, Africa continent needs to look at that.
Yes, so these 4 areas are the areas that we are targeting our scholars to be engaged in.
All right.
Yeah.
So I want to know how this scholarship thing is done. Is it like the scholarship is given to the country, then the country selects the people who would have to undergo the training and awards them the scholarship? Or how is the scholarship administered?
Okay, the first thing that we need to know also is that, or one of the things that make RSIF unique in administering, in giving scholarship and administering it, is that we'll have our scholars. We want our scholars to be trained in Africa, to be trained in the sub-Saharan Africa. So what we first did was to select competitively some universities, in the region that will train these students. These universities were actually selected out of a program that the World Bank is still supporting, the ACE, African Centers of Excellence. Okay, so we have 4 of these universities. So the first thing that we expect when we open the doors for the scholarship, the first thing that we expect is that interested candidates should apply to these universities. At the moment, we just have 4 universities that have been selected. This university, one is in Nigeria, another in Tanzania, another in Côte d'Ivoire, and another in Senegal. So we have these 4 universities. So what we expect students that are interested in having a scholarship is that they first apply to these universities for admission, And also it's important to mention here the scholarship we are talking about is a scholarship for PhD program. It's not for undergraduates or MSc, so it's actually for PhD program. So what we expect is that when they apply in these universities and they qualify, they have all that it takes to gain admission in these universities. They also will apply to RSIF online. Okay? So at the end of the day, the RSIF secretariat here we now select based on the recommendations of the universities. Based on the recommendation of each of the universities. So we will now select. And then the ones that are selected will also be subjected again to interview. And the interview usually is conducted by an independent evaluation committee, which has been established by PASET. And this committee comprises of scholars from different parts of the world. It's not restricted to Africa at this time. So we have that committee existing. So this committee will evaluate the submissions of the candidates and also and conduct interview. Sometimes it's maybe virtual interview and all of that. So based on the recommendations of this committee, RSF will continue the process of giving the scholarship.
That is very interesting.
Yes.
Viewers, We are speaking to you from the AAU TV, and we are discussing one of AAU's flagship programs, the Partnership for Skills in Applied Science, Engineering and Technology, under the Regional Scholarship and Innovation Fund. And with me in the studio is Mr. Osondu, who is the project administrator. Now, you talked about the process that people are subjected through to allow them to be able to get the scholarship. How do you ensure that when the person has finished going through the process, the person will go back into his institution and go and provide services for the institution? Because you, in your explanation, you talked about the fact that the person gets recommendation from the institution that he applied to, and then AAU will also subject them through some other sort of interviewing process or selection process. But I want to know how then you would make sure that the person who gets the eventual award, or those who get the eventual award, the beneficiaries, would go back and do what is expected of them and not run away with the skill they have gained and go and work in a developed country where they can get some more money.
Anyway, the first thing is that we don't want to be restrictive, okay, to the beneficiaries of the scholarship, okay? And as you know, the academic environment is an environment of free thinking and free mind and all of that. So we don't want to restrict or constrain the scholars. But again, we think and hope that everyone who had passed through this program should be able and should, for even moral sake, contribute to the development of the region. Okay? And one of the ways we think that we will get these scholars' interest in remaining in the region is by having them to do the program in the region. Like I said before, the universities are here. So it's not like you go to the advanced country and then you finish your program, you remain there. No, the universities are here. We also have, even though the universities are here, we also have what we call the partner institutions. Okay? We have some institutions outside Africa that are partnering with the selected universities. Okay? And so a student that is being trained also has the opportunity to go on a sandwich program in these partner institutions. We have one at the moment at South Korea and another one at Netherlands. Okay? But they will still return to their host universities and complete their programs. So in all, our expectations are that whoever benefits from the scholarship should be grateful enough to contribute to the development of the region. But we are not going to tie rope on them and say they must not move or whatever.
Okay, that is fine, but knowing the African as it is, probably let's see how it works. The other thing I want to know now would be how a person gets to know that this is the window for me to apply for this scholarship. Is there a window when people are supposed to do the application, or it's open perpetually all through the year?
No, it's not open. It's not continually open. When it is time, okay, like we have the first cohort of the students, in fact, they are about resuming now. That's the first cohort. So when it is time to admit the next cohort, we will announce it on our website, on the Facebook and all other social medias, and also at the universities.
AAU's Facebook, the AAU's websites,
all of the AAU's
social
Facebook,
media platforms.
Yeah, exactly, and also RSIF website.
Okay.
Okay, and social platform too. Okay. Social media platforms.
Okay.
And also the universities, the current host universities will help. And we also will want to ride on the network of AAU itself to announce for the opportunities.
Oh, okay. Let me ask, during the selection process, do you have, for instance, some parameters that give some concessionary advantage to some other people, like females, like a particular region? Is there something like that that allows you to do your selection, so that there's a regional balance and there's a subject balance that is in the areas that you cover, the areas of energy, ICT, so that there's some sort of balance in whatever quantum of money is available for people to apply for?
Well, first, I want to eliminate the regional balance. You know, we have all the sub-Saharan region. It's open to that. But again, we give not necessarily concession. You know, we make sure that everyone go through the process. And when the independent evaluation committee are finally giving their recommendations, so it is these students that are recommended by the II's, the independent evaluation committee, that some concessions now will be applied. One concession is female, because we want females to get involved in science and technology. Okay, we want that. And then also, we also give some concessions to the countries that have contributed, that have made financial commitment, okay, and contributed effectively again to the fund. So we give them some level of priorities too. But that is, all of these are within the list of those that have been recommended by the independent evaluation committee.
Okay, that is very interesting, because with a view now of putting more women or bringing more women on board, I think that is a very noble idea, to have them have that advantage, so that I can have more women come out as PhD holders in those areas of science and technology. Now, in the area submission, you had stated that you are not tying down or tying their hands. So let me ask again, what happens to somebody who defaults and does not complete the program? The person is registered, he wins the scholarship he's supposed to go through, he goes through first year, second year. For whatever reason, it could be a reason that is really tenable, but it could also be whatever reason, and he defaults, he didn't complete the project. What happens to such a person? Are there any remedies for such situations?
Well, we don't wish this anyway in the first place, but whatever reason that is constraining a student from completing the program, each of them will be looked into by its own merit. Okay, and it will also get the decision on what to do will be much more beyond me. It will get to PASET's board of directors. Okay, so we will look at each case according to its merits before we can say what we'll do for a scholar that is unable to complete the program.
Thank you very much. Conversely, what about an institution that decides to punish a student, so that the program is supposed to run for 3 years? 4th year, the person is still running the program. 5th year, the person is still pursuing his PhD or her PhD. What happens to such an institution that's supposed to be a host institution?
Well, the host institution, like I said, they are partners apparently. Okay, they are part of the implementation team, the host institutions. So they are to ensure. And first of all, we also believe that the candidates that we have selected are exceptional students. Okay, so we think that they will do well. Okay, so we also have commitment from the host universities to support these students
Okay.
so that they can do where they can complete their program on time. We have a minimum of a minimum of 3 years for the PhD and a maximum of 4 years. So if it's the scholarship does not cover beyond the 4 years.
Okay.
So we'll find out why a student cannot complete his program in 4 years and all of that. So,
Okay.
yeah.
That is very interesting. I am just imagining Africa as we have it and the number of strikes that come up within the university system. So that in an event where the university is forced to close down because the faculty is agitating for better conditions, what happens to students who are under such a program?
Okay, one thing that we are also trying to do is that we want to expand the base of our host universities.
Okay.
Like I told you now, we only have 4 universities in the sub-region.
Yeah.
So in a very short while, we'll be expanding the base, we'll increase the number, okay? And so if a student have a case that you have just mentioned here, our first option, looking at everything, considering every other factors, our likely first option is to move the student to another host university. Okay. But like I said also, these universities were carefully selected, and they have given us their commitment that they will do everything possible to ensure that the right things are done, and then these students complete their programs at the right time.
Okay. So then I assume that because of these measures you have put in place, then there is going to be also the measure for you to be able to see what the student does on site. That's a way of monitoring their progress on site. Let me ask, can we have an idea about the quantum of money per candidate?
Well, RSIF is one of the, I can say, one of the very attractive scholarships.
Okay, so it covers which components?
It covers, of course, stipends, and there are just 3 components of the scholarship: the stipend, the tuition, and also the fund for the student's supervisor. Okay, for a student in a year, the student will be getting $14,400. Okay, so that's like $1,200 per month, and this will take care of her or the students' living, so to say. You know, the accommodation, the food, and everything. And then the tuition is 3,000. You know, this was agreed with the institution. It may not be their normal tuition, but because they are part of the team,
partnerships.
Partnerships. So that's what they do. And then another 4,000, for the supervisor's fund. You know, the research fund, so to say. So at the end of the day, for each year, we are paying 14,400 to the student and 7,000 to the university.
That is 21. So roughly, by the time a student goes through, it's roughly about $70,000 US. That is, if he's able to do it within the 3-year duration.
So it's a maximum of 85 something thousand.
That is some amount of money.
Yeah.
Mr. Osondu, do you think this is sustainable?
Yes, because when you think of the goals, when you think of the things we want to achieve, when you think of the gap that exists in Africa, particularly in the sub-region, when you think of the role of science and technology in closing this gap, when you think of the impact of one PhD student that is trained and remains in the sub-region when you think all of this, a time will come when all the countries in Africa will be contributing monies for this program. And one thing that is also essential is the management of the funds.
Okay.
AAU as an institution is committed to managing these funds in a very professional way, using the best practices of managing scholarships. Okay, so we think that this program should be such that by its impact will remain sustainable.
Okay. And for me, I'm sure one of the things that will help it become even more sustainable is the fact that more governments will become effective members, like using your own words.
Yes.
Become not just members, but effective members, and come on board.
Yes, and also the institutions outside the region. Okay. We have Brazil, some institutions in Brazil showing interest, in China showing interest, and all of that, because the labor, the world labor in the very near future is domiciled here in Africa. So if you want to grow, if you want to do business and do it optimally in the region, you have to show interest in developing the skills of the people in the region. Okay. So we think that this interest, we are sure in a short while many will show.
Okay. And I'm hoping too that probably, like you said, the AU is also a partner. The AU is using its influences to convince the governments that we have on the continent to become effective members of this partnership.
Yeah.
All right. We thank you so very much for attending to us and helping us with some clarity on what the PASSET RSIF project is about. But before you go, let me give you this opportunity to say what you have finally to all the continent in the area of promoting the PASSET RSIF project. I don't know.
Like I said before, this is a very good program. This is not a program that we are getting money from outside, from outside the region, and then it will be a one-off thing. But this is a program that is designed to impact the development process in Africa. And we believe that the impact of science and technology is the only way to our development. And so the more we show interest in science and technology at all levels, the more we show interest in it as institutions, as government, as a people, we will escape from poverty. So I'm appealing to the different governments of the continent that have not yet shown, again, effective interest, that they should come on board. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Viewers, we have heard it all, the PASSET project and what it intends to achieve. Thank you, Mr. Osondu, for attending to us.
Thank you very much.
We hope that next time we call you, you'll be available to give us more lights on this PASSET project.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
So we have come to the end of our discussion on the Partnership for Skills in Applied Sciences, Engineering and Technology, a program offered by the AAU and run by the partners involved to make sure that the skills that we have on the continent in the areas mentioned, applied sciences, engineering and technology, is upgraded in the near future. This is where we end our discussion for the day. This is AAU TV program, AAU Talks, and I am the sitting host for today. We hope that you stay tuned in for more interesting discussions that will follow up.